time. Full time. Doing gang things. Living super clean. That done came up. Can't control us. One time for the men doing cane thing. Dead fresh to the T, living super clean. 3 times for my folk that done came up. 4 times cause the man can't control us. 1 time for the men doing cane thing. Dead fresh to the T, living super clean. 3 times for my folk that done came up. 4 times cause the man can't control us. Look at you, you done came up now. Get it how you live, mess the game up now. Ain't messing with yoga, but get the flame up. Hey, used to be Toby, but got your name back now. I see ya, paid under pressure. 25 lighters got them all on the dresser. If it ain't for you, ain't for you then. If you a lame or a sucker, wanna dress you then. Grown up now, bump the childish ways. Got a wife and a bunch of kids to raise. Punch a clock side hustle or a business you endure to ensure that all the bills is paid. Slow clap for your homeboy. Could've turned out like your homeboy. Been on the same block, cooking up the same rock on the cell block lot with your homeboy. But no, you had vision, you had goal. Brand new you on the old time road. Take care of home where you bust your low. Black men don't teach screaming bunty hoe. Real men talk, real king ways. Still in captivity, but minds ain't slave. Got a little wisdom, boy, you PD grade. Giving out the knowledge on the stoop these days. 1 time for the men doing cane thing. Dead fresh to the T, living super clean. 3 times for my folk that done came up. 4 times cause the man can't control up. 1 time for the men doing cane thing. Dead fresh to the T, living super clean. 3 times for my folk that done came up. 4 times cause the man can't control up. 1 time for the folk that have moved up. Even if you had a slow start screwed up. Used to gang bang, now homie brewed up. Had a little plan, I had them blew up. Look at you like a man right now. Dressed to the T, smelling like a grand right now. And you ain't got nothing from a handout now. Just faith and hard work gets it planned out now. You could've took a bunch of dusty rolls. The hand dealt with a bunch of cards to fold. To stay hot while the world is freezing cold. The same plot, but the story's never old. Slow clap for your kinfolk. Could've been asking what your info. Prosecutor could be trying to do you in for the 2020 twins, so you passing out the info. But no, you had purpose, you had plans. I ain't throwing nothing on Mercedes Benz. Won't impress y'all, don't need no fans. That ain't my God, who is that man? This real men talk, real king ways. Still in captivity, but minds ain't slave. Got a little wisdom while you peek these grades. Giving out the knowledge on the stoop these days. 1 time for the men doing cane thing. Dead fresh to the T, living super clean. 3 times for my folk that done came up. 4 times cause the man can't control up. 1 time for the men doing cane thing. Dead fresh to the T, living super clean. 3 times for my folk that done came up. 4 times cause the man can't control up. Yeah, real man. Sheesh. Yeah. Doing cane things. Living super clean. Daddy came up.
1 time for my king doing king things. I'm these hoes cause he know he got a good thing. I submit and I cook and I clean and I never hold back on that pop. I'ma let it rain. Made me honest, I got a ring. All praises to the most high, let it sing. A real man able, sister never came. And I ain't going nowhere, this is not a game. Look at you, girl, you're lonely right now. Settling for bums instead of in the most high. He provide and protect so he get our respect. And he leading us aboard when them chariots fly. I don't really think you hear me though. You can't cross this bridge on some billy goats. Let them save you in the end like a Seminole. Be help me, shout it, let the silly go.
1 time for the men doing cane thing. Dead fresh to the T, living super clean. 3 times for my folk that done came up. 4 times cause the man can't control up. 1 time for the men doing cane thing. Dead fresh to the T, living super clean. 3 times for my folk that done came up. 4 times cause the man can't control up.
Shalom and shalom, sisters and cousins, and praise the Lord, saints. It's your favorite housewife, Miss Mono. Afternoon. Good night. It is actually 8 o'clock here. You know, in some cultures, they say good night to greet you when it's night. I know we don't do that here, but I just thought about that. So what is up, you guys? Happy Thursday to everybody. Thank you guys so much for hanging out here with me this evening. Hold on. Let me push a few buttons super quick. I'm sorry, you guys. I should have been doing this while the music was playing, I know. But I went upstairs to make my tea. And so I'm sorry I'm doing it right now. Okay. All right, there we go. All right, so yeah, happy Thursday, everybody. Thank y'all so much for hanging out with me, whether you're watching it live or on the replay. Just in case you're new around here, I am Miss Mono's. I am Miss Mono's World. I go by Miss Mono's World on these content creator streets: Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, all the places the content creators be. It's not the time to be trying to freestyle while I'm on the job. You know what I'm saying? Stick to the script. How many years have I been doing this? I don't know how many. I don't know. I know it's been years, but I've been giving the same intro for all them years, so I'm not about to change it right now. Okay, if you are not on the YouTube, please head over to the YouTube at Monologue McGad, MONOLOGMAGAD. This is where you can see all of our past podcast episodes. You can check out some music visuals. My husband's work is on there, so you can get familiar with us over there at that YouTube at Monologue McGad, MONOLOGMAGAD. But wherever you are, like, share, comment, subscribe, all those good things. Okay, so I didn't really find anything like super interesting to talk about besides what I was going to use for my main topic. I mean, just regular stuff going on out there. But let's jump into the main topic. We'll get through that, see where that leads us. And I have a very exciting new children's book to talk to you guys about. A sister friend of mine published it. It is amazing. We'll talk about that later. Something you guys should definitely check out. Okay. All right. Other than that, we have a good show for you guys tonight. My bad. I am going to be ending here a little early though, you guys, because I have a panel to go to after this one. So, okay, this opportunity has stumbled upon me. I didn't go looking for it. It came looking for me. All praises to the Most High. That's how he like to do it. And I wasn't sure what to do with it at first. Like, I wasn't sure, if it was going to be a permanent thing, if it was a once in a pop thing. But it's for right now, it's going to definitely be a thing I'm doing for a while. And it's just really been eye-opening, I want to say. Thank you so much, Atticus. Thank you. You did. Thank you. Atticus, ladies and gentlemen, he bought me some tea. Thank you. That's my sweetie pie. He bought my tea for me. I had started boiling it, but then I had to run down here because the song was ending. Okay. And then it's that weird time of year where sometimes it's cold in the morning and the night, and then it's warm in the afternoon. So you go from a t-shirt to a sweatshirt to a hoodie all in one day. It's crazy. Okay. All right. So yeah, I've been doing these panel discussions. They're on the Lapeef network, Lapeef, Lapeef. I'll put the name in the chat for y'all. But I just find it interesting, the response that I get to my position. My position is not one of a modern woman at all. Y'all know how we do around here. We are women who are striving to live according to the Bible. And that means having a totally different mindset about a lot of things, right? And a lot of what I've run into is a lot of modern women have a problem with my thinking. And when they cannot find anything else to say, when they cannot find another idea to exchange, then I become a pick me. And it's just funny to me how I'm the least, I'm the person that's saying pick me the least on this panel. I'm usually the only married woman on the panel. So for me to get labeled a pick me is wild to me because I'm literally like one of the only women that could not be less interested in anyone there. Okay. I don't care what anyone thinks. I'm happily married. I have been happily married for 12 years. Okay. And God willing, I'll be happily married to the day we depart this earth many, many years from now together. So pick me is the wrong thing. And then, but it's so crazy to see how many men will have a problem with me saying that men are supposed to be the head and talking about how that looks in real life. Like a lot of these modern thinking men have a problem with that. So sisters, y'all need to be very thorough when you are dating, when you're at the socializing part, okay? Because once you get to the courting part, then, you have expectations of each other. But before you have expectations of each other, you need to understand what his understanding of being the head of a household is, okay? Um and this is why I tell y'all in my book, Why Boaz Don't Want Your Ass, to make sure you know what you believe before you start dating. Okay? Because he's coming in with his beliefs, right? And like most men, especially those who call themselves Bible believers, they expect their wife to fall in line as a helpmeet should, to be that support, right? But if you're not comfortable with how he leads, you need to know that up front. You need to know that up front because some people don't understand the difference between being a head and being a tyrant. They don't know what it means to lead in cooperation with your helpmeet. They think it means if I say tie your shoes, you're gonna bend down right now and tie your shoes. It gets crazy. So please, y'all know who you are dealing with, what they are thinking, what they believe, and make sure their beliefs line up with yours before you get serious with them. Okay. All right, let's jump into our main topic because I do have to end a little bit early tonight. That's the other thing. I do have to end a little bit early tonight to go to my other engagement. Okay. Like, share, subscribe, turn on your notifications, comment. If you're listening live, comment live. If you're listening if you're listening on the replay, comment replay. Okay, hold on. All right, they keep changing everything on this restream. It's crazy. All right, so in the wild, wild world of financial crimes, another housewife and her husband have entered the chat. Okay, and like if you know me, you know I don't love true crime. But I love true financial crime. Like, give me a good white collar crime documentary and I'm here for it. Okay. I'm talking about Ponzi schemes, embezzlement, wire fraud, tax evasion. I want to hear all of it. All right. So imagine my conundrum when one of my favorite real housewives and her husband were indicted for fraud. And y'all, I love what Wendy represented when she first came on. Her first season, she came on there. She put her education to the forefront. She put her family to the forefront. Like, I definitely thought she was going to stay regular. The second season, she came back. It was over. She was BBL'd up. I mean, it was over. We saw the beginning of the end at that point, right? But here's the thing. In order to get on that show, you have to be able to show a certain level of affluence, okay? You have to have the houses, you have to have the cars, you have to have the clothes, you have to be styled. Like, you have to be at a certain level in order to even appear on these shows, okay? So, with that being said, she's already living better than a large amount of the population, okay? She's probably in the top 5 to 10% of income earners in the country. With that being said, how thick is the competition where you are that, and I don't want to call it a modest living, but how thick is the competition where you are that being a top income earner in your demographic population country, regardless of demographics, how bad is it that that's not enough? Okay. And what makes it crazy for us watching from home, it's like, what? Well, if that's not enough for them, how is it enough for me? Right? Um, because people are sitting at home comparing. Why don't I have this? Well, why doesn't my house look like that? Why doesn't my hair look like that? Why don't I have these kind of clothes? There must be something wrong with me if I don't have these things. Okay? The problem with that kind of thinking um is that you are placing you're placing someone else's highlights because it's not even their real life. Okay, you don't know if they rent the house, you don't know if they own the house, you don't even know if it's their house. You don't know if they can comfortably afford the mortgage. There is such thing as being house poor. I don't know if you guys have ever been to a person's house and it's like, oh, this house is pretty nice, but then you get inside and they don't have any furniture or anything. Y'all watching on the Shalom. Thank you for joining me. They don't have any furniture in the house. They don't have a car. Like, all they have is this house. Okay. That's someone being house poor. All their money is going into their home. And so you may be standing outside that house looking and thinking like, oh my gosh, I would really love to have this house. Or to make it more relevant today, you're on Instagram, TikTok, looking at a section of their home. Okay, think about your phone. And when you point your phone to take a picture or a video, you control what's in the screen. Okay. And even then, even if you were to step back, the field of vision is still limited. Okay. Like, even right now, y'all can only see what's in front of this camera. I'm in a whole room, in a whole first floor, in a whole house. You can't see any of that. All you see is this right here that's in front of you. Okay. So when you start to look at a thing, it's like when you're at the mall and you're shopping for clothes and you don't ever check the price tag. Like, you're just picking up stuff, picking up stuff, picking up stuff, and then you get to the cash register and they ring it up and they tell you the price, and you realize that you are not able to or not prepared to pay that price. Okay. Um so it's comparison and there's greed. There's two sides to this monster. Okay. And I'm gonna call it a monster because it's ruining people's lives. People who may have been okay. Like, I watch a lot of American Greed, okay? And you would be surprised at the number of people who are doing pretty all right. Like, a lot of people will be cool living your life, but it's greed, right? Like, okay, it's 2025. So their car might be a like 2019, right? Still run good, still looks modern. You got all the same amenities. You got the Apple CarPlay, you got the Bluetooth, whatever. It do the little light up thing and it do all of that. But because your friend's car is a 2024 and it has it's whatever the hot brand is at the time, now all of a sudden you're unsatisfied with the very car that you was jumping up and down and praising the Lord for a few months ago. And so the New Testament talks a lot about us being content, right? Paul said, whether I have a little or I have a lot, I'm content. The reason contentment is important is because it allows you to keep the focus on the Most High and where He is taking you, as opposed to I want it right now, right? You may very well be on your way to the life that you want, okay? But you have to build. With anything you have to build. You're not, and see, here's the problem when people tell their stories and they're made to sound like quick success stories. Everybody thinks they're going to be an overnight sensation, right? They feel like, oh, I'm gonna turn this TikTok on and I'm about to go viral. I'm gonna put this YouTube video out and I'm gonna be viral next week. It is a lie to keep the system going, okay? Because if they kept emphasizing how hard it was, people, you would think people would stop playing the game, but I can't even say that. I can't even say that, to be honest with you. um, you have to build a thing in order to get something from it, right? Even in a job, even with your job, right? You start your job at one salary, and then as you work there, you earn raises, right? Either you earn it for the time that you've been there, or you've earned it for doing really good work, or for whatever reason, they give you raises during the time of your employment, okay? This is how you see senior level executives, at this incredible salary, or whatever. These people have these incredible salaries. That's been built up and earned over time, okay? Even if you want to go into business for yourself, that's the real grind. That is the real grind right there. Okay, with a job, you're going in there, you know how much you're going to get paid, your paycheck is coming, unless you work for the federal government now, but for the most part, your paycheck is coming, and you plan for that. You can plan for that, right? As business owners, you can't plan for that. You can't plan for a paycheck. You don't know where your next order is coming from. Okay, it's faith. It's a walk of faith. But even in that, you have to build up your business. You have to build up your clientele. You have to build up your customer base. You got to build up your advertising. Even today, we've had our bouncy house business for, well, I'm gonna say like 4 or 5 years now. Yeah, we had it when we moved in this house, so at least 4 or 5 years now. Um, and I can tell when I don't advertise like usual. Okay, my usual is every day I'm advertising. Every day on Facebook I'm advertising. But let like 2 or 3 days go by and I don't do it, and we can tell. We can tell. It slows it down. We're not getting visible. We're not getting the bookings. Hey, you need to start advertising again. Okay. Um, the consistency that is required is a road that we do not want to travel. And this is something that bothers me about people not willing to be transparent when they get on these podcasts, or get on the internet and call themselves handing out advice to people, right? And if I'm trying to sell you a plan, right? If I'm trying to sell you on the fact that I can help make you successful, right? I can help you. I got the key. I got the sauce. And you could pay me $99.99, or you subscribe for, $15 a month or whatever. I got the sauce to help you get to where you want to go, right? You don't want to hear that I'm just helping you to go along the same road that you're going to have to go anyway. You want to know that I've got some kind of shortcut, some kind of exit. I mean, what are you paying for? And I'm not saying there's not a place for coaching. I'm not saying that at all. There's definitely a place for coaching, mentorship, motivational speakers, all of that stuff, okay? But if you are not consistently putting in the work to build the thing you're trying to work on, then it doesn't matter. It does not matter. I mean, my child can go to basketball games all day, but if he's not consistently practicing, then it does not matter. He's going to get in there, he's going to fumble the program. And I think that's I I think that's the other side of our comparison and greed situation, right? Because we want it and we want it now, and we want a lot of it. We have to be doing better than those around us. And as I was thinking about this, why? Like, why is this such a big deal to us? Where did this come from? Why is this something that we struggle with? And there are many different answers, right? There are many different answers. You could just call it the lust of the eye, wanting the things that you see around you, or at least the image portrayed by the things that you see around you, right? This is why we have the advertising industry, to make you want things that you don't need. Let's think about that. Yes, you need clothes, but do I need Ralph Lauren's name inside my shirt? I don't need it. No. You need water, but do you need the Aquafina? Water Kroger bottled water is not good enough for you. Why is the tap water not good enough for you? You understand what I'm saying? Like, and I'm not saying that we're not guilty of it, right? But there comes a point when the love of the things that you think that you want becomes more important than keeping the law of God, and now you are in danger. Danger, Will Robinson, danger. Okay. This is a problem with greed. This is when greed becomes an idol in your heart. When you are willing to compromise your faith and all the things that you have stood on previously to get what you think that you want. Sisters. This is a dangerous situation to be in. When you're talking about greed when it comes to money, this is how so many of us end up on the pole. This is how so many of us end up in abusive relationships with the wrong man. This is how a lot of us end up on OnlyFans, wanting something. When you're talking about in relationships, because comparison and greed, you're looking at a couple's date night picture. I want that. I want somebody to love me. I want a man. I want. And so now, instead of you waiting on God's timing to bring the right man around, you just out here grabbing up whatever because you are desperate to recreate an image without knowing the background of said image. Think about how many times you've been surprised to hear a celebrity was divorcing. Like, oh my gosh, we just saw them in a picture. They just look so cute together. They were just here. They were just there. When did this happen? The image without the background of it. Brianta, shalom and shalom, sis. Thank you for joining me. And so you have to be careful when you decide that what you want is more important than what God has for you, right? The Bible says that if you delight yourself in the Lord, he will give you the desires of your heart. And at face value, you could take that scripture to mean that, oh, if I delight myself in the Lord, then he will give me the things that I want. Upon further examination in my eyes, what that scripture says to me is, if I begin to delight myself in the Lord, he will change the desires of my heart so that they line up with his will for me. And now what he wants for me is what I want. If you're going to call yourself trying to live righteous, if you're going to call yourself enlightened, if you're going to walk around with a purpose, you need to know the reason for you being here. And you cannot make that up. You did not create yourself. So the answer to your purpose in life is not inside of you. I'm sorry that you have been misled by what I call humanist But the answer is not inside of you. I'm so sorry. There's a time and a place laid out for everything in your life. And so you're not wrong for wanting more, right? And there's nothing wrong with money. I like money. I appreciate the lifestyle that you can afford when you got a little piece of money. You understand what I'm saying? The money is not the issue. It's when the love of it becomes a problem. Because remember, love is an action word, and it should, if it is real love, push you to do things. Okay? My husband loves me. So if he out running around and he sees a taco truck, he knows I like steak tacos. So he gonna stop and get me some tacos. He loves me. I didn't even have to ask for the tacos. Oh, my wife like tacos. Let me stop and get her some tacos. He loves me. His love for me pushes him to do things for me, to gain my approval, satisfaction, not retribution. The returning of the love, okay? Just as my husband's love for me can push him to do things for me, your love for money will push you to do things for money. Nobody asked you to. Nobody asked you to get on camera. Nobody asked you to hop on the pole. Nobody asked you to. But you decided that your love for money was so much that it pushed you to take this drastic action that pushes you further away from God. And now here's a problem. Okay, and we're just talking on the spiritual side. We haven't even got to the natural side and the financial crime side of this situation. I love me some steak tacos. 3, please, with the sauce. Yes, with the green sauce. Woo. I love that green sauce. I think they call it salsa bread or something. I love that green sauce. Not my cup stuck to the table. Okay. So oh, that tea good. So yeah, and that's when it becomes a problem. When your love for money becomes more than your love for God, right? What do you mean by that? Again, love pushes you to do things. Wanting to please God pushes me to do things. It pushes me for more time in prayer. It pushes me to study my word more. It pushes me to be more obedient in my walk so that I maintain our relationship. You understand what I'm saying? It pushes you. It is an action word. If you look it up, it's patient. These are actions. It is kind. That is displayed in your actions. When you decide that you love the things of the world more than you love the things of God, your actions are going to satisfy the love of the world, putting you at enmity with God. You cannot serve two masters. It's like a few months ago or weeks ago when we talked about astrology. And we talked about how astrology is a belief system, and a belief system is something that you base your decisions on. It's how you curate your choices in life. And that's why we said you cannot believe in astrology and the Bible at the same time, because the Bible is also a belief system. You are supposed to base your decisions and choices in life off of what the Bible says. You can't have two things. The love of money says, get money at all costs. Look at our culture. Yesterday on a panel that I was on, we were talking about how a lot of female rappers are out here prostituting themselves in the name of money. I mean, they can go get a job at Home Depot. I don't know if y'all remember back in the 90s, Jay-Z had signed this female rapper, Emil. Was that her name? Yeah, her name was Emil. He signed a mill. He put her on a couple of songs. And the next thing we know, she's working at Home Depot in New York somewhere. And people clowned her. I remember when the girls that did that song, Shouted Swing My Way. I know my voice sounds horrible right now, but y'all know what song I'm talking about. But I remember when them girls was working at like Victoria's Secrets or something like that. Might have been just an Atlanta thing, but they made a big deal about them girls working at Victoria's Secret. But now you have people who are like, well, why these girls can't get no job? Because we live in a society that will clown you if you put a song out and then turn around and had to get a job at Home Depot. That is why. I'm not saying it's right, but what I'm saying is we as women have to know that this pressure is out there. We have to combat ourselves against it. Okay. The whole armor, the helmet of salvation, the breastplate of righteousness, loins girded in truth. You literally have to PTSO, okay? Because it is crazy out here. Put that salvation on, okay? Not what y'all say in the streets. PTSO, put that salvation on. I'm going to put that on a shirt. But that's what you literally have to do. Just like a few weeks ago, we were talking about our thoughts and how we were supposed to bring them under subjection and into obedience. Listen, unconsciously, you can't help when you see something and you want it to, okay? You see a nice car. Ooh, that's nice. Ooh, I like that. You picture yourself driving it. You would like that. And then you walk away and you go on about your business, right? The problem becomes when that, ooh, that's nice, ooh, I want that, becomes I'm going to do whatever it takes to get that because I need what I perceive comes with that car. Tribeca, shalom and shalom, sis. Thank you for joining me. I need what I perceive comes with that car. I know how I felt about the person driving the car. And I want other people to feel that way about me. When I saw that girl in that car, I was like, ooh, her life must be so nice. She clearly has money. She's dressed nice. She's well put together. I would love that because me and my current situation is not that. Even though your situation might be good. Here's what's crazy. Your situation might be good. Now, I mean good for you at the time. I'm not saying it's your final destination good, right? Final destination, owning your own property. A wise man leaves an inheritance for his children and his children's children. Okay, we're not talking final destination money. But we talking your bills are paid. You got a pretty decent house. Your children are healthy. They got clothes that fit. You can go buy them some new shoes. Heck, you and your family can go out and eat. Like y'all living pretty good. If you don't check that spirit of discontentment and greed, it will have you unsatisfied with the life that you were just praying for a year or two ago. Because your eyes perceived that some other possession made someone better than you. Okay? It is only your perception. Let me read this comment. Always keep a mental note not to follow the crowd or current trends because most people are doing it. It may not be the right way to go. Not always the case, but I try to go the narrow path instead. Amen. As we all should. We all should. Wide is the gate to destruction. Narrow is the path to righteousness. It means a lot of people aren't going to do it. One thing that baffles me these days. When I'm on the panel and not even being on the panel is when I saw it. But I took an economics class in at the college at the Montclair State. And we started talking about household economics. And one thing the professor said that I've always remembered is that economists see households as businesses. They don't see you any different from any other sector of industry. What you make from working is the resources that your house takes in. What you put out when you buy is the expenses and the output from your house slash business. And so when I understood this, okay, I started to twist it around in my mind. And for me, one of the glaring similarities that stand out in every good organization is structure, right? You have your CEO, you have your CFO, you have the COO, then you have your management, then you have your middleman. You understand what I'm saying? There's a hierarchy and a tier, and everyone plays their part to keep this business running. They have meetings, they come together at designated times to discuss what is going on in our business now, what don't we like about it, how can we change it, and what are our plans for the future. Everyone gets their common goals and they all work toward the goal of making the business successful. Sure, the CEO is the one in charge, but he cannot lead without the cooperation of the rest of the management. Okay. It's kind of like your brain, right? You know how they say we have two brains, really? You have your brain in your head, and then you have your gut, which is like your second brain. Even though the brain in your head is the brain that's in charge, when your stomach starts hurting, honey, your brain is not, I don't know about y'all. Ladies, you get cramps. And that's not even your stomach. That's your uterus, okay? So that's not even the let one part of the system not be working and the whole system is at risk. You are only as strong as your weakest link. I do not understand why we cannot implement this in the management of our families and our households. And for women, implementing this means understanding the role that we have to play. Your husband slash CEO has come and set out a timeline for you. Okay, boo, this the vision. I'm hoping we'll be here by then, here by then, here by then. Now, at your job, you're going to take that and it's the mission. Everybody is focused on the mission. They putting up posters, they having pizza parties and mission, mission, mission. And if you meet this goal, you'll get a reward. You know how they get mission focused, but so why can you do that for your job, but you cannot do that at home and wait for the results? Wait for the results. The husband come with you with an idea on Monday, and by Friday, you expecting a six-figure check in the mail. If you went to your boss and asked your boss for a raise and they told you, listen, it's just not in the budget right now, you would take that and you would walk away. But if you go to your husband and ask your husband for something, he tell you, listen, it's just not in the budget right now, it's up. It's up. Y'all fighting right now. I noticed that the wives of successful businessmen are not they are not for the most part focused on the business. Their husband handles their business. You know where they are? They're at home raising their children. This principle is supported at just about every income level. The family functions better when the mother is at home with the children. Listen, nothing you ever do is always going to be sunshine and rainbows. Okay. We see billionaires jump off of buildings. We've seen them jump off of bridges. We've seen them hang themselves. Like we have seen people who we feel like have everything in the world that we would ever need to be happy, be so unhappy that they ended their life. So the answer is not in things. You can cry in a Bentley. I mean, I'd rather cry in a Bentley than I'd rather cry in a Bentley than a Toyota, okay? But why are you crying? Are you crying because it's just a little test, a little situation you're going through? Or are you crying because you've allowed your greed to take you so far out of the will of God that you don't know how to make your way back and now you are in a state of desperation? Are you crying because you let your comparison drag you into a relationship and now your heart is telling you one thing and your head is telling you another thing and you are in conflict with yourself? That is such a crazy, crazy place to be when your head is telling you no and your heart is telling you yes. But there are ways to prevent this by being obedient, y'all. And I know you might be like, well, it's not that easy. You're just saying it, but it's not that easy. But I'm telling you, it kind of is. I'm telling you, it kind of is. Um, so what I was saying earlier about subconsciously not being able to control wanting a thing, noticing a thing, you've got to bring that thing under control. You got to leash that puppy in. Okay. You have got to tell yourself that just because someone has more than you, it does not make them any better than you. It just means they invested their time more wisely than you did in this area. I'm not saying overall, right? Because look, I've been married for 12 years. There are people who, when I was getting married, were working on the next step of their career or whatever. And so now they have 12 years of career to show. But I have 12 years of homemaking, homeschooling, business building to show for my efforts, right? And so my 12 years of product may not be as accepted by the world, or it's not. I'm gonna tell you right now, it's not. It's not praised by the world. People will look at me and be like, Ann, what did you do? Who cares? You understand what I'm saying? You can't expect people to understand the value of a thing that they've never had. Like, I can't explain to you what having $1 million will do for you if you've never had it. Like, you won't get it. You won't understand. So my 12 years of work is not going to get the round of applause. It's not going to get the accolades. I'm not going to get the you go girl. In fact, I'm going to get the exact opposite. I'm going to be called a pick me and everything else. But I am not living to please the world. I am living to please the Most High. I have decided that this is what that looks like for me. Now, listen, I'm not saying women can't have careers. I'm not saying that. Okay. If that's what works for you and your household, praise be. Work the thing. But what about your household? Women can have it all. You just can't have it all at the same time. Okay. Um, it's like and this is why people say you shouldn't multitask, right? You should just focus on one thing because when your attention is divided, you're not giving anything 100% of your attention. You're not putting 100% of yourself into any one thing, so everything goes lacking. Look at the antidepressant commercials. Look at the talk about obesity, sedentary lifestyles, and how it's hurting us. Processed foods and how they're killing us. Processed foods are a product of industrialization. What happened during industrialization? People had to start going to work. So they didn't have time to be raising cows and chickens and collecting eggs and making preserves and making their own foods, eating the way God intended. We don't have time for that anymore because now we have to go and work in these cities. And so now we have a generation of children who are the first generation that's not, I want to say this the right way, but it's somewhere along the lines of these generations of children will not live as long as their parents did. Now, I'm not claiming that for me and my family, but this is the general consensus because of the conditions that we live in. So we'll complain about the conditions that exist because no one is at home to take care of the family. I know it might be hard when you get online and you see your girlfriends traveling and they going here and they going there and they doing this and they doing that. I want y'all to stop being jealous of people's debt. Stop being jealous of people's debt. Please understand that there are people out here. Okay. We all have different priorities, all right? Let me say that because it's life. You're going to make your own choices. My priority is my home being comfortable. That's my priority, okay? I like to have my nice comfy towels. I like my sheets nice and clean and smelling good. I like nice fluffy blankets, soft pillows. I love my home to be comfortable. I'm the kind of person, I don't need to leave my house. I have everything here. And whatever I don't have, I can Instacart or Uber, okay? I am that person. Angelina, shalom and shalom, sis. Thank you for joining me. Like, if it wasn't for date nights, I wouldn't go out at night at all. I just don't feel the need to, okay? So, my home and the comfort of my home is my priority. That's what I'm going to take care of. Make sure my bills are paid, and I'm going to make sure I have my textiles and fabrics and furniture and things that I need to be comfortable at home. Someone else may prioritize not being at home. Like, they might spend all their money eating out. They might spend all their money traveling. They might spend all their money on clothes. They're putting all of their money into something else, right? And so the difference in these two is if you don't come to my house, you don't know where my money is going. You don't see my big furry blankets, my nice cushy pillows. You don't see these things because you're not inside my home. But the person who chose to focus on the vacations and the clothes, sure, they have something to show off to the people, but how are they living behind closed doors? This is what I be talking about you don't want to pay the price that these people are paying to be out here stunting on social media. You don't. Like, share, subscribe, turn on your notifications so you know when we go live here at the House of Mono. All right, y'all. Super fast. I just want to tell you guys about this awesome book by my good sister friend, Tierra LeRae. You can order this book at herchosenpath.com. She has lots of other stuff on her website as well. But Who Made Me is her first children's book, okay? The book is scripture-based and it is meant to go over principles of self-esteem and purpose from a Bible-based perspective for your kids, okay? It's full of great the pictures are so cute. Everything rhymes. There's a verse to support it, and there's even a section called, I think it's called Let's Talk. It's like conversation prompts for you and your child after you read the book. Okay. You can pick this up at herchosenpath.com. It is $19.99 on the website. Yes, they do take Klarna in the house. Okay, love me some Klarna. So yeah, make sure you check that out. And also, like, check out a lot of her other stuff. She has candles, the little wax melt things. Sis is popping. She got a whole shop going on over there. So herchosenpath.com. Make sure you go check them out. All right. So yes, please go ahead and order that book. It's a really good book and it's so super cute. I love it. Okay. Hold on, let me check the order. All right. And look, I know it's hard, right? And I'm not saying it's easy at all. Um, and I'm not saying I don't fall victim to comparison sometimes, right? So my husband works on houses sometimes. He was fixing a friend of his house up. Like he did a couple rooms in the house or whatever. So one day he had a fight party. This was like a year or two ago. Excuse me. They had a fight party. So we go over there and I go to the bathroom. When I tell y'all, I was so mad in that bathroom because why my bathrooms don't look like this? It was white marble on the floor, on the walls. They had one of the new mirrors with the light inside the mirror. I mean, it was, and I was like, wait a minute, why my bathroom don't look like this? What is going on? Like you literally live at our house. Why I don't have this bathroom, right? And so I didn't let that cause a problem for me, right? If I would have let that put me in a state of discontentment, now me and my husband got problems. Now I got problems at home. Now we arguing. Now my marriage is in danger all over what? A freaking bathroom? That's ridiculous. I went to him and I asked him that. I was like, hey, buddy, why my bathroom don't look like this? What is going on? And we talked about it and it's still in the plan. It's still in the plans to do, but it's nothing for me to get all crazy about. I want us to like change the way we think about social media. You've got to start. Okay. Um, I took an art appreciation class in college. It was one of my favorite classes that I ever took. I loved the teacher. She was super, super like cool. And I just loved the class, right? So in my art history class, that is where I fell in love with Starry Night. Starry Night by Vincent Van Gogh is one of my favorite paintings. I love it for the depth in the painting. Like it's just so many things I love about this painting, right? Like I would love to lay in it. You understand what I'm saying? Just visualize it. But I understand that it's just a painting and I understand that this is never real and I understand that the stars in the sky will never look like this. Like this will never be real. I know this because I know this is a painting. The problem is you think for some reason that a photograph is different from a painting when it comes to how you perceive the image. And what I mean by that is if you're not in this picture, you're never going to be in this picture. You can look at someone on a yacht and see people in the background and be like, oh my gosh, they must be having so much fun. But you don't know what's going on in that picture. You don't know what's going on when them people get up from those poses. And so you could never be in this picture. This is the thing when we hear so much about the sleaze and the lascivious behavior that goes on in Hollywood, right? Because everybody wants to be famous. We all want to be, but then you hear about how the girls are basically 304ing themselves out to try to get ahead. And you're like, oh, I don't know about that. Right. You could never be in that picture. That's not your husband. That's not your house. That's not your life. And even if you were, what movie was that? Am I thinking like Single White Female where the one lady was trying to like I know there was a movie on Lifetime, okay? I know there was a movie on Lifetime where the babysitter was trying to like kill the wife and take the family cuz she wanted the wife. She wanted to be the wife in this situation, right? But what you don't understand is it's not going to be the same with you there. People look at relationships and they may look at I don't know. I don't know. you'll see a husband and a wife, right? And you'll be like, oh my gosh, her husband is so nice to her. Her husband loves her so much. Oh my goodness, I want that. I want that. And you may convince yourself that you have a chance with this woman's husband, right? But what you don't realize is that woman's husband only works that way because of that woman. With another woman, the results are going to vary. This is what you don't understand. The chemistry and the relationship between a couple is very specific to that couple. Another person in that picture, you're not going to want it no more. You're not going to want it. It's not going to be the same. It's not going to give you that same feeling because it's not the same people, because the person that chose to try to place themselves in the situation doesn't belong there. Crazy. The thief of comparison and covenants, God said to be there with consent. Exactly. You will hurt yourself stretching, trying to reach and be what you are not. Nobody said you can't ever have more. But when you try to get more without letting God lead you to it, you are becoming a totally different person. We all know people who may have came up a little bit in life and just totally started acting all stank. Or old girl get a new boyfriend, now she moving different. She get a new set of friends. You don't recognize her anymore. It's not the same person you used to hang out and kick it with. You're totally changing everything about you. And then you're probably rendering your gifts null and void because you don't want to go the way God is trying to tell you to go, right? Write them books and write them books. I got you. Just come on, just start writing. Start writing. Start that podcast. Come on, I got you. Post the videos. Come on, I got you. Come on, this is the way. This is the way to get there. Come on, I got you. It's just like hiking a trail. I notice when we're on a hill, I have a harder time getting up the hill when I'm staring, looking for the end of the hill. You understand what I'm saying? Because it's usually not in your sight when you're struggling, okay? It's like, dang, when is this hill going to end? So as long as I am looking toward the end of the hill, I'm struggling with what's right in front of me because I'm not focused on that. When I put my head down and I focus on the ground that's in front of me, taking one step at a time, then by time I do look up, oh, look, we're at the end. You can't, when you get a ladder, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, there's like 4 rungs on a ladder. You can't just go up to the 4th. You got the 1st, the 2nd, the 3rd, the 4th. Matriculation does not stop just because you're not in school anymore. Just because they're not numbering your grades doesn't mean that there are not levels to. Starry Night gives you nostalgia. I love Starry Night. It's just so whimsical. And then to know that he was in a psychiatric institution when he painted it, I'm like, wait a minute, is something wrong with me? Tara, shalom and shalom, sis. Thank you for joining me. Okay, this is my girl here. This is her chosen path. This is her. Y'all make sure y'all go check out the website, check out the books. She got candles. She got all that stuff. Okay. Ahava, shalom and shalom, sis. Thank you for joining us. So, look, I want us to let this go, right? And look, I'm so hurt for Wendy. I am. She has kids. They have 3 small kids. And she threw away what was, look, you got to be at a certain level. Yeah, you got to be at a certain level to get into a certain amount of debt. You understand what I'm saying? And so did you ever think that maybe God is trying to protect you from an outrageous amount of debt? Because think about it. If you went out there and got approved for all them credit cards that you applied for, how much debt would you be in right now? If you had got that home that you had applied for, how much debt would you be in right now? If you had got that car that you wanted so bad just so you could stun on them, how much debt would you be in right now? Listen, the Most High's will is for your own protection. It's not to stop you from enjoying it. It's so that you can enjoy it to the utmost. Do you know how stressful life is when you can't afford your bills? I've been there. It's not fun. It is not fun at all. I don't know why people try to glamorize struggle. I really don't. There's nothing glamorous about it. It's horrible. Horrible. I would never want to go back there. But we keep putting ourselves there every time we get off the path. Every time, think about like you made 5 months and 3 weeks at that job, and at week in 2 more weeks it'll be 6 months, and then you will officially be able for a raise. Some of y'all make it to 5 months and 4 weeks and quit the job, and now you have nothing. It's like that when you get off your righteous path. You quit the job. And so now you starting at zero with whatever you decide that you were going to replace your righteousness with. Patience is the name of the game. Things take time. Anything that's going to last is going to take time to build. I enjoy listening to stories of the robber barons. Okay, let's just call them the robber barons, because for the most part, at least from the stories they tell us, these people started from dirt. Now, I'm not saying they didn't do some illegal things to get where they ended up, but they started from dirt, right? And so this is why I like listening to these stories, because you have to start somewhere. Everybody starts somewhere, and it's up to you how you build your house. You're either going to build it on the firm foundation of righteousness, so it could be a house built on a firm foundation that can withstand a storm, or you're going to build it on evil, greed, and discontentment. And as soon as the flood waters come in, your house is going to tumble over because you built it on sand. Listen, when I decided to come in out of the rain, and I'm saying that in like the prodigal son. Remember when the prodigal son left home? What did he tell his daddy? Give me my money. I'm going to go out here now. I got it. Thank you. I'll take it from here. Now, his daddy had built up all that money over his lifetime, right? And if he would have left the money alone, it would have kept growing. But no, he decided, I want to leave the program now. So he went out there and spent all his money. And when he came back home, he had nothing. Nothing. He came back home because he was sleeping with the pigs and eating pig slop. Okay? He came back with nothing. That is what happens every time you jump off that righteous path. You're building up. You're building up your work. And then you just one day snap and give me mine. I'm leaving. But then when you come back, you come back with nothing. You come back worse than you left. Spiritually, financially, emotionally, sometimes physically, depending on how far out there you went. And so now you have to come back with nothing. When I decided to come in from the rain, I had to come back with nothing. Mind you, when I snapped and decided I didn't want to do it the right way anymore, I had a full-time job. I was in school full-time. I had just bought my first car by myself with my little bonus check from AT&T. I was doing good. It was just me. I remember days I would wake up when I would have school and work. I would wake up, run to Cumberland Mall, find me an outfit to wear for the day, get in my car, go to school, change it to my outfit, gone about my business, eat out that day. Like I was fine with what I had. I was building, I was working on something, but I let discontentment, I started looking around and seeing what other people had without knowing the price that they paid to get the things that they had. I let some stuff that I didn't know the price of cause me to abandon everything that I had been working for. And so when I came back, I came back with nothing. I didn't have a job no more. I had quit school. I had nothing. The car that I had, I didn't have it much longer because I wasn't making no money to pay the bills. When I bought the car, the bill was no problem. I would pay it 2 and 3 months at a time. But when I came back, because my soul was hurting, my spirit was tired, I didn't recognize myself anymore. I grew up hearing all my life, you're going to preach the word of God. Like you're going to share the gospel. You're going to spread the news. This is your destiny. You have no other choice. And so when you grow up knowing that, I'm always looking for that to be what I'm going towards. And so when I notice that I'm moving further away from that, now I'm concerned. Oh Lord, don't remove your hand from me. Please don't take your spirit from me. Let me go home and get back in line. Not saying I got it perfect every time after that. But for me to be out here just willingly, haughty, wanton, brash, and unashamed in my sin, now I'm on the wide path that leads to destruction. I got to come back. And you notice that if you go from something wide to something narrow, there's not room for all your junk. You got to downsize because it's smaller. That's people, that's things, that's mindsets, attitudes, emotions. You got to leave all that stuff on the wide path where there's room for it and where you don't want to be anymore. Stop. I hate that they call it reality TV because nothing's reality about it. Imagine that these people are just a moving painting. And I'm not trying to take away the humanity from these people. I'm not. But when you label it reality and you only give people half of the story, you are giving a faulty perception of reality to millions of people because they're thinking, oh, everybody lives like this. I remember back in the 90s when Friends was on, okay? I don't know how many of y'all have watched Friends, but so there were 3 girls living in an apartment in New York, and there were 3 guys living in an apartment in New York, and they lived across the hall from each other, right? And so of the 3 girls, one was nobody had a spectacular job. Nobody had a spectacular job. And you saw them all hanging out at a coffee shop all the time, right? So in this show, it looks like nobody ever works, but somehow they are able to maintain these spectacular apartments in New York City, which has never been cheap. And people were complaining that it gave a false reality to people in other countries about life in America. It made people in other countries feel like, oh, all Americans live like this. We just sit around with our friends and drink coffee and live in fabulous apartments. You are putting out a false perception of reality. What does that false perception of reality do? You're attracting people to a lie. Okay, real quick, I'm gonna wrap this up because I have to go. You're attracting people to a lie. Okay. Actually, I think I'm gonna continue this probably next week. Yeah, I'm gonna continue it next week because I got a little bit more to add, but I need to give my voice a break and my nerves before this next show that I'm about to do. Hold on, let me find a link for you guys just in case y'all want to head over. Hold on, let me find it. See if it's, is this it? Yes, this is it. Share. Hold on. Trying to. Okay, here we go. I'm going to copy the link for y'all. It is in the chat. Hopefully you can see it. Okay, thank you for telling me. Okay, so there's a link in the chat. If you can't, here's the name of the channel. Sorry, I forgot I had my caps lock on, so now it looks all crazy when I type it. Okay. All right. So that's where I'm headed to. That's where I will be. Look, me and my group chat, shout out to the group chat. Me and my group chat had a fasting day this week. And when I was in my fast, it reminded me of noonday prayer. And now when I was in Jersey, I used to go to noonday prayer like every day. And it was always only older people there. Like I was always the youngest person there. But when I tell you it was some of the best times of my life. And so I have implemented that again, just every day at noon, turn off whatever I'm doing, drop what I'm doing, and just focus on the Most High and have a word with him. It's been amazing. It's definitely recharged me. Please, please, please get back into your word. Get back into your prayer life. This is the only way to guard against the attack of the enemy. It does come in the form of greed and discontentment, always making you think something is wrong with you and what you have going on. But we don't have to, you know what I'm saying? You don't have to tolerate that. You do not have to tolerate that. Okay. So before I go, I always talk to y'all about ways that you can support the ministry and what we have going on here. You can head over to the Cash App, $ the House of Mono. $1 or $2 will do. The Cash App, $ the House of Mono. Please head over to the YouTube at Monologue Magad, MONOLOG MAGAD. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, comment, tell your friends to tell a friend. You can follow me at Miss Mono's World, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, all the places the content creators be. My Facebook content is monetized. Like, share, subscribe, comment on Facebook. These are ways you can help support our ministry. One last way, you can buy my book. It's called Why Boaz Don't Want Your Ass. 8 questions to consider while waiting. I just wrote this book to give women something to consider. If you're dating, if you're thinking about taking things to the next level, wherever the case may be, just some questions for you to consider. Okay, Paxton and Atticus, ladies and gentlemen. You bought Skibbity Toilet. What is Skibbity Toilet?
It's
just a thing?
Yeah.
Is it like 6'7"? No, it's not like 6'7"?
No, that's different.
That's different. Okay. I never thought that I would be the parent that didn't know what the heck these kids be talking about, but I'm that parent now. All right. Thank y'all so much for hanging out with me this evening. If you come over to the panel, let me know. Shout me out. Say hey in the comments. All that good stuff. All right. That is it for us tonight. Do y'all have anything? Oh, I ain't even put my little thing. All right. Well, thank y'all so much for hanging out with me this evening. I hope something that I said was helpful, whether you are listening live or on the replay. If you're listening on the replay, please comment replay. Every comment, every like, every share, every subscription, it's very, very helpful. Thank you all for those who do support our ministry in whatever way you support, whether it be Cash App, whether it be on socials, whether you buy a book, whatever way you decide to support us, we greatly, greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Shalom.
We love you.
We love you.
Shalom. Shalom. And good night. Whoa, wait, I hit the wrong thing.
Doing gang things.
Mono.
Living super clean. That it came
One time for my king doing king things. Mom these hoes cause he know he got a good thing. I
Tune in to Why Boaz Don't Want Your Ass with your host, Miss Mono.
Shalom and shalom, sisters and cousins, and praise the Lord saints. It's your favorite housewife, Miss Mono.
Every Thursday from 8 to 10 p.m. live on YouTube at Miss Mono's World and Monologue My God. Now also available on the Saya TV